What is the crack, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is 2021, it is a new year. You might be trying to eat a little bit healthier, and we are here to help you in the kitchen. We have 3 recipes today. We have an overnight oats with caramelized banana, we have a quick vegetable soup, and a personal favorite, it is a muncher fajita wrap. If you are in need of a helping hand with your New Year's resolutions, our ebooks are still available. They're over on our website. The link is below. Pick them up. There's tons of recipes to give you a hand in the kitchen. The first dish today is an overnight oats. It is quick, it is simple, and it's a great one to do in advance to have for breakfast in the mornings if you're in a rush. The main ingredient here is oats, so rolled oats or any normal oats. We'll knock them into a Kilner jar, like so. The binder for this recipe are chia seeds. So again, that's what's going to take all the liquid, absorb it, plump up, and give it that nice kind of pudding consistency of the breakfast itself. So we knock them in on top of the oats, make sure they're all in, get a spoon, and give it a good stir. So we want to make sure that it's all really well mixed together. There's no pockets of chia seeds, there's no pockets of oats without any of that in it. Another binding agent that's going to help us stick it together is some peanut butter, and adds a really nice nuttiness and richness to the dish as well. So we'll just get our spoon out. It's a nice generous tablespoon. Knock that into the jar, and then the liquid we use to bring it all together is some milk. So again, you could use a dairy-free alternative. You could do almond milk, you could do oat milk, you could do water if you want, or just use normal milk itself. So we pour that in. We want to submerge all of the oats, and again, don't be afraid because it's going to soak up a lot of that milk. So get in there, stir it all around, and it should look like a kind of wet porridge consistency. Once that's fully mixed through, you can see a nice homogeneous mix throughout the jar itself. Dip your spoon. We're going to want to seal this, pop this in the fridge, technically overnight, up to about 3 hours is perfect. You'll see those chia seeds will set, they'll plump up, and we'll have a much thicker consistency throughout the dish itself. Just before we pull the oats out of the fridge to see if it's set, we're going to do some caramelized banana to top that with. It's one of my favorite toppings. There's a ton of ones you can do. You could do berries, granola, you could do more yogurt, more peanut butter. The world is your oyster when it comes to the toppings of your overnight oats. But for our caramelized banana, it's a really simple one, and it's a nice addition of fruit into our breakfast again. So we have a frying pan on a nice high heat. We're going to do a small bit of butter into our pan. It's going to help with the richness, help get a nice golden color on the banana itself. With our banana, we're just going to chop it into nice kind of small thin pieces with a small knife. Careful not to lose any fingers. We'll pop that into the pan, brown it off with some brown sugar, and get a nice golden seal on that banana. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to serve it up in a ramekin. You could absolutely eat it out of any of the jars or Kilner jars that you made it in initially, but I'm just going to take it out, serve some up, and top it with our caramelized banana. And again, you should see that it's a much kind of stiffer pudding-like consistency after a few hours in the fridge. We're going to take some out, pop it into our jar. So we're going to fill it up, and it's a great source of carbohydrates and a great source of fat for the morning, so it's going to keep you fuller for much longer. We have that really nice peanut butter nutty flavor on the inside of the oats itself, and then when we top that with our caramelized banana, you get this beautiful sweetness and the addition of some potassium and fruit in the morning themselves. So just layer them on top like so, and a little bit of brown sugar. Is not a whole pile of sugar, but it really helps get a nice brown color on the banana and a nice caramelization. So we'll just put these on top, and we'll put a dusting of cinnamon over it. The next recipe we're going to do today has 2 purposes. Number 1 is a quick and easy lunch on the go, lower in calories, packed with flavor. And number 2, we are using up vegetables that may be going off in the fridge. So a quick and simple homemade soup is a great alternative. We have a pot here in front of me on a nice high heat. We're going to add in a knob of butter or oil, whichever you want. I like to use butter because it adds a nice bit of richness and flavor. So put a knob of butter in. For our cubes of veg, what we're looking for is these bite-sized pieces of veg. Now it's not that important because they're going to cook in the soup themselves, and I'm going to blend it later. You can serve it chunky if you like, and if you are serving chunky, then maybe chop them down a little bit smaller, but it doesn't quite matter what size they are, as we will blend it later. Chop them up, pop them in to the butter once it's fully melted, and we just soften this down ever so slightly before we actually go on and make the soup itself. So I have, usually a good rule of thumb here is 3, 2, 1. 3 potato, 2 carrot, 1 onion. I'm adding in celery, so I'm adding in 2 sticks of celery and 2 cloves of garlic. That's a really handy way of measuring is 3, 2, 1. So all my 3 are gone in. I'm adding in my potato on top. As that starts to frying, we're going to season it. So I'm going to do a nice pinch of salt, a nice pinch of pepper, and then you can either do some mixed herbs in the jar, or you can also add in some fresh herbs. So I have some fresh thyme here. I'm just going to break it off the stems, knock that in, like so. Take it off the stems, just knock in the leaves. Let that start to fry off a little bit before we add our stock. So as those veggies are starting to go slightly brown and golden, we're not looking to cook them fully. I like to add one little step, is a small little bit of curry powder. Adds a nice bit of spice and a bit of a kick. Not a whole pie, we're not trying to make a curry. Just a small pinch will give that little bit of heat into the soup itself. You could also add chili flakes if you want. Now on top of this, we'll add in our chicken stock. And now the soup has just to set, bubble, and soften those veg. So stir that through. We'll pop a lid on this or leave it bubble away. In about 15-20 minutes, they'll be nice and soft. We'll either blitz them up or serve it as it is. The final few touches is a small bit of cream on top, some fresh parsley, and that is the soup done. So it is quick, it is easy, it's low in calorie but high in flavour. That beautiful, vibrant, rich colour, and you're packing those veg, so it's really, really healthy, full of vitamins and minerals too. The final recipe today is a staple in my own food business, Country Munch. It has been on the menu since very day one. It is the fajita wrap. It is quick and easy, and it's great for a kind of after work snack, or if you're in a rush in the evening for dinner, you can whip it up pretty quickly. So a pan on a nice high heat, I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of oil into the pan. Chicken, peppers, onions, that's the contents of my wrap. Again, you can use whatever you like at home. If you have mushrooms or courgettes or any veg are going to go off, add them into this dish. Once the oil is getting nice and hot in the pan, we're going to brown off our chicken first. We should hear a sizzle, and we'll start to brown that off. So again, this is going to take the longest to cook. We get it in the pan, we mix it around. If you want to feed more people, you can put in 2 breasts, 3 breast chicken, and divide them out in between the wraps themselves. Once we're getting a nice kind of white brown color on our chicken, it's not fully cooked, but it's going to finish cooking as we cook our veg. So bell pepper is going to go in, as will our onion. So you can see I've kept those pieces quite big. They're going to add a bit of volume and add a bite to the dish itself. So get them in, get them tossed around, and we'll season it up. So we have some Cajun spices. So again, it's like a blend of paprika, cumin, some smoked paprika, but you can buy them whole. So peri peri or Cajun or whatever you have at home. So we're going to knock in about a teaspoon, like so, into the pan. We'll do a pinch of salt and pepper on top and give that a little toss around. Just as those are finishing cooking off, the chicken is just nearly cooked. The veg are getting a nice brown color on the outside. We're going to add our chipotle mayo to the wrap. So it's just mayonnaise with some of that Cajun spice mixed through and a small bit of ketchup. So add that on and just spread it around the inner circle of the wrap itself. For a little bit of greenery, I'm going to do a small bit of rocket salad on the center. That's going to keep a lot of the juices off the tortilla too, so it won't get too soggy too fast. And then we're just going to pop our contents into the center of the wrap. Now the main thing here is to make sure you're not being too greedy and you're adding in too much veg, because it won't close the wrap, it'll break and split, and you'll be left with a disaster. So we'll get just enough on. The key to wrapping this is we'll take both sides, left and right, we'll meet them in the middle, we'll take the back, fold it up, over, tuck it into bed, and then roll it forward. That's for me. That is a foolproof way of wrapping wrap. You'll never have the sides split or falling over. It covers both sides, it's easy to wrap. That is it, done and dusted. That is the dish done. Whether it's breakfast, lunch or dinner, hopefully this full day of eating will help you with your New Year's resolutions. If you're new here, please do subscribe. Pick up the ebooks if you haven't already. We will be here throughout 2021 to give you a helping hand in the kitchen. Until then, keep on cooking.